Don't quit. When things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, when the funds are low and the debts are high, and you want to smile, but all you have to do is sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but do not quit. Life is a queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometimes learns, and many a failure turns about when he might have won had it stuck out. Don't give up, though the pace may seem slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt, and you never can tell how close you are. It may be near and just slip to the part when you're hit the hardest. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. Hello, Samson here. So, in today's book review, I was reading Goes by Brian Tracy, one of those books you just want to read. Starting out the year, I thought it wise to look at the fact that there are goals which we need to set, and for us to be able to achieve goals, the greatest failure that we have most of the time, as Brian Tracy stresses out, is the fact that we do not know how to set goals, and then we do not practically set goals. That is why we do not get to achieve anything literally. So the biggest waste of time is for you to spend the rest of your life trying to accomplish something that you would actually accomplish in about a year, or doing something in a year that you might just get done in a week. So any plan is better than no plan at all. Starting out the year, all you need are goals. So the book is interesting, divided into 21 chapters. Unfortunately, there was something I was looking for in the book. You can only find it, I think, in time management or maximum achievement, certain steps of goal setting, which I'm not going to drive into in today's book review, but we're just going to look at what the chapters talk about. So goals, literally how to get everything done in a faster way possible than you could ever imagine. In chapter 1, we are unlocking your potential. So every one of us is born with potential. So success is practically goals. All else is literally commentary. So if you want to unlock the power that you have in you, definitely there is need to set goals. In chapter 2, we're talking about taking charge of your life. So a man is much of what he makes of himself. I think that's Graham Bell who said those words. So you are much of what you make out of yourself. In chapter 3, you're going to create your own future. So creating your own future has factors that have to do with you being futuristic and being future oriented. So you think in terms of the future while working right now. So in chapter 4, we are clarifying what your values are. So leaders are basically people who know who they are and what their values are. So there are like 5 orbitals of your personality, or 5 levels of your personality Brian Tracy brings out. The first level of your personality has to do with your expectations. The second one deals with your beliefs, for what you believe in. The third one has to do with your values, obviously, and then the fourth one is your attitude, and the fifth orbital that Brian stresses out is your actions. Going right to chapter 5, you're determining what your goals are. So clarify your goals on a daily basis. Wake up, write out what your goals are on a daily basis, and then follow through starting out the day. In chapter 6, you're deciding upon your major definite purpose. So in order to determine what your major definite purpose is, you look at what the characteristics are. So some of the characteristics here we are looking at, if you want to look at your definite purpose, that is something that you personally want, and then you look at how clear and specific it is, how measurable and quantifiable it is, and how achievable it is. Then you also look at uh, reasonable possibilities of it being a success, and that is how you get to look at what the purpose behind your definite your definite purpose is. In chapter 7, we are driving into analyzing what your beliefs are. So you do not believe what you see, instead what you believe you see. That is where that power lies. In chapter 8, you're talking about you starting at the beginning. So you deal with reality now first before you attempt to solve any problem. So you look at where you are and where you want to be and solve problems where you are, and then go to where you want to be. Start from the beginning. In chapter 9, you're measuring your progress. So there are three key places of performance which you look at. So the first one is looking at your commitment. The second one, we're talking about the completion of your tasks. And then the third one is closure. So commitment, completion, and closure. So details much more. If you want to read, you can just dive into the book. In chapter 10, you're removing the roadblocks that are blocking you from progressing and achieving of your goals. So failure is an opportunity for you to intelligently begin again. So one of the philosophers, I think, said, so in order for you to remove the roadblocks, you need to be a person who's solution oriented all the time. In chapter 11, you're talking about becoming an expert in your field. So what's interesting here is the fact that there are three major things you look at. What is it that you do, and how well do you do it? And then how difficult is it for you to be replaced by someone else when you do the thing that you do? In chapter 12, you're associating with the right people. So the fact about people and networks here is that in business, everything is relationships. Your customers, people you want to supply to different things, are supposed to like you in order for you to get uh, to offer them services, and you get to get their money, and then they get to pay you. So it's all about relationships. Associate with the right people. Chapter 13, you're making a plan of action. So for every goal that you set to be accomplished, it definitely needs a plan of action. You need to take action at all times. In chapter 14, you're managing your time well. So a book I would recommend, and this one is Time Management by the same author, Brian Tracy. So if you want to accomplish and achieve your goals, you need to take charge of your goals. And then in chapter 15, you're reviewing your goals on a daily basis. So to measure progress and to measure how far you've gone in goal accomplishment, you need to be revealing your goals on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. So the best way to do that is by the start of the day and at the end of the day, where you can look into what do you want to do, and at the end of the day you look at what you wanted to do has been done or not. Then in chapter 16, you're visualizing your goals. So use the power of visualization. And then in chapter 17, you're activating your subconscious mind. So there are three minds which Sigmund Freud, I think, puts out. So the first one is the ego, the second one is the ID, and the third one is the super ego. So the ego is definitely talking about you, and then the ID is the subconscious mind, and then the super ego is the supercautious mind. So harness the power of the supercautious mind, which is going to help you achieve your goals. Chapter 18, you are remaining flexible at all times. So there are these three factors that drive change, and if you're to survive in any business, then you need to remain flexible. So the first factor is explosion of information. So we are living in an information age, and then explosion of information is something that is a factor that is going to affect your business. The lesser you learn, the easier it is going to be kicked out of your business. Secondly, it is a tide of technology. So in advanced and developed countries, most of the time it's like about 6 months where technology keeps on changing. If you are lagging behind on a constant basis, you might be kicked out of business. And then the third one is competition and pressure that is unending. So business world is a competitive world. In chapter 19, you're unlocking your inborn creativity. So your inborn creativity has to do with the fact that 95% of it, you have it. which is supposed to be tapped in and utilized. In chapter 20, you're doing something on a daily basis to get to achieve your goals. And then in chapter 21, you persist until you succeed. So persistence is one of those key factors that you just need to stick to if you want to achieve your goals. A last note on this one is looking at the fact that regardless of how persistent you might be, adversity and disappointments are never inevitable. So like the first poem that we looked at, this was Goes by Brian Tracy. Do not quit. Till we meet in the next segment. Check it out.